What a great song. That is going to be stuck in your head for the rest of the day, or at least the rest of the week. Now, in that song, it says this. My computer's down there. I'm going to read it from down there. It says, "We read the wind in the sky. At night, we name every star. We know where we are. We know who we are." Now, these are Moana's ancestors, and they basically train on the seas. They ride their ships, they go wherever they want, they see whatever they want, and they can plan where they are going because they can read the sky and they can read the water around them. Can you imagine being able to do that? That would be amazing. Just be able to go, oh yes, I'm in Hoylake at the moment because I recognise the skyline. If I want to go to Chester, I just need to go here because the stars are there. I mean, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Now, in Matthew chapter 10, verse 31, it says this: "Not one will fall to the ground outside your Father's care, and even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Do not be afraid, you are worth more." I mean, that is incredible. You are worth so much to God. It says every single hair on your head, God knows about. They are numbered, okay? Now, let's have a little bit of a challenge, okay? You've got a blonde, you've got a brunette, and you've got someone who is ginger, okay? In those, which one of those has the most amount of hair on their head? And guess how many hairs there are on a head, okay? Which one's the highest and which one's the lowest? Take a guess. Okay, I can tell you, I can reveal that if you are blonde, you have on average 150,000 hairs on your head. If you are brunette or you have black hair, you have an average of 90,000, okay, so only 90,000. And if you are ginger, you have 110,000 hairs on your body. So if you're blonde, you will have more hairs on your head. That's a little bit weird. How does that work? That is right. The average human head has 100,000 hairs on. How incredible is that? Now there are approximately, I'm gonna get this completely wrong, 7,660,000,000 people in the whole of the world. Okay, on the whole of the planet. Now, if every single one of those people has, I've gone blurry. Now, if every single one of these people has an average of 100,000 hairs on their head, there is 7.66 quadrillion hairs on people's head in the whole world. Okay, that is a lot of hairs, and guess what? God knows every single one of them, and not only that, he knows every single one that you have on your head right there because he cares about you that much. He pays attention to those little details. Now I want to go to Psalm 147, verse 3 to 5, and it says this: "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. He determines the number of stars." Determines the number of stars and calls them each by name, every single one of them by name. Great is our Lord and mighty in power. His understanding has no limits. 100 trillion galaxies in the universe. Each of them has 200 billion stars. I mean, this is getting to maths that I have no idea about anymore. That's big numbers. These are huge numbers, and God knows you individually and made you individually. You are unique. He cares about you. He loves you so much. Now in Joshua chapter 1, it says this: "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." Now, I was touching before about they're moving with their hands and figuring out where the waves and the tide and where it's all going. God is with you wherever you go. There's no getting away from him because he is with you absolutely everywhere. And in 1 Peter 5 verse 7 it says, "Cast all your worries on him because he cares for you." Not because you're a person, because he cares for you. God actually cares for you. There are trillions and billions and millions of stars. There are ridiculous amounts of hair going on, and he cares for you. There's animals, there's all these different things going on, plants, blah, 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 blah. And he cares for you. And he cares for every single one of those things. We have God at our fingertips. How amazing is that? God cares because you are his creation and he knows every single thing about you. Now underneath me there's going to be some questions. There's going to be a few more verses. You can have a look at some of those verses, and there's a few more questions about it. I might even try and sneak in a little video as well for you to have a bit of fun with as well. At the end of those questions, at the end of those verses, join me again and I will finish up this section.